Hi there guys, and welcome to another episode of the Cover Zero Show with me, your host, Simon Conboy. Continuing on with my draft preview series, focusing on specific teams, their needs heading into the draft, and what players I think they will be looking to target and may select. This episode will be focusing on the Detroit Lions. So I'm just going to go over the team needs that I had going into free agency, how they've looked to address them, and how things have possibly changed in the lead up to the draft. So the Detroit Lions, I had need-wise running back, defensive tackle, and linebacker. Now, whilst I think the Lions had a very positive free agency overall, particularly the offensive line additions, which I've been on record, I'm a big fan of. The running back spot has not been addressed at all. I don't think they can rely on Abdullah. It's been 2 years he's been in the league. He spent a large chunk of that time injured, and he's been solid but not outstanding when he has been on the field. Last year the run game was anemic and really hindered everything this offense could do, especially towards the end of the season when teams kind of just put the clamps down on their passing game. Without Megatron, it's a far less dangerous group. Whilst they're solid, there's no huge big play threat there, and the lack of run game really was apparent. So I think they need to bring in another runner, and I expect to see them do that through the draft. Defensive tackle, they signed Akeem Spence from the Buccaneers. He's not going to solve any of those issues. He's a rotational player at best, in my opinion. I still think this is a big need. Nata's getting older. They need a couple of guys at this spot, really, and they need to look to the future for this. The Nick Felly and Damekong Suh combo seems like so long ago in Detroit. So I think that's a major need, as well as the linebacker spot. Now, this was a need before they cut DeAndre Levy. They've signed Paul Warrilow, and he'll be starting for them. Of that, I've got fairly little doubt. But they definitely need to bring in some other bodies there. It's a position that's low on talent for them. So look for that to be another spot that's addressed. So those three needs have not changed at all for me. Not enough done to address them in free agency. As I say, I still like what the Lions did do, but these needs remain very much needs heading into the draft. Now, in the first round in my mock, I have maybe gone for a bit of a reach here, but I've been watching Alvin Kamara's tape last week. I think he looks very, very good. The other three running backs are all off the board when the Lions pick at 22 in my mock. So I think they take the running back. In terms of immediate impact, this is the player that they need to take. If they can go get a defense tackle, they can go get a linebacker, I'm not sure they'll potentially contribute to winning games as much as selecting a running back would. Now, I think Kamara is a very good player. I think he offers a good complement to what Amir Abdullah does, and having seen the success that the Falcons had with the Devonta Freeman Tevin Coleman combo, I think they'll see the possibility to do similar things with this offense. And whilst a lot of people may see this as a reach, I haven't seen him mocked in round one in too many drafts. I think the talent is certainly there. Now, of course, they could wait, but I don't think there's a defensive tackle worth taking at this spot. Similar with receiver. In my mock, I don't have any of the top receivers available. And similar, they could go with one of the linebackers, I suppose. TJ Watt or Jared Davis would both be available at this point, and they would both also make sense. I wouldn't be shocked if they took either of them. But I think for the reasons I've stated, I can just see Alvin Kamara being the selection. I think it'd be a great fit, especially with the beefed up offensive line that they've managed to create through free agency. Make a lot of sense, and I think in terms of trying to get the Lions back to the playoffs next year and possibly have a bit more of an impact when they get there, this is the signing that makes the most sense to me. If not, I think it'll be one of those linebackers. Going into round two, that's where I think they'll look to address the defensive tackle spot. Possibly Malik McDowell, some character issues there. Apparently interviewed very poorly at the combine and some very inconsistent game tape. But I think he'd be a perfectly good selection, lower end of round two. High upside there. Similar with Caleb Brantley from Florida. I think preferable. I'm not sure he'll be available at this point though. I think he'll be off the board, but if he's there, I think they'd go for him. If they do go with one of the backers in round 1, I could see possibly Donta Foreman being considered here. Joe Mixon's kind of the wild card of the running back group. Incredibly talented player, but of course the documented character issues there, so who knows what spot he's going to go. I'm not sure Detroit would want to necessarily go with such a risky option with the need being at that spot, but it's possible that they go for the upside there. Again, lower end of round 2 is potentially going to be pretty tempting, maybe too much for them to pass up. Round 3, similar thing. I've got some names there, possibly Blair Brown, the linebacker. I could see him being considered. Kareem Hunt, the running back. Again, Joe Mixon may still be on the board. Who really knows at this point? But these are just some of the players that I think will be considered. As I say, I think these 3 spots will be addressed early in the draft. Whether they wait on the running back, I just think the talent level with Kamara is significantly higher. I think after him, there's a bit of a drop-off. I don't think he's as far behind those top 3 backs in talent as has perhaps been suggested. So, yeah, definitely need to address the middle of the defensive side. Otherwise, I can see teams running on them all day next season. What do you guys think? Do you agree, disagree with any of my suggestions for the Lions? Let me know, whether it's below in the comment section, through the Cover Zero Facebook, or whether you find me on Twitter at Simon Conboy. I'll do my absolute best to get back to anybody who does get in contact with me. Always a pleasure when people do. And, if you enjoyed this show, please check out some more of them. I've done free agency reviews, got the rest of the NFL coming up over the next couple of weeks as I plough on through these previews. If you can like, share, subscribe, check out the Patreon, that would be greatly appreciated. Thank you very much for your time. It's been a pleasure. And as always, go Bucks.